Hello everyone, my name is Dallas May. In case you're wondering why I'm in another room, it's because, well, like I said, we had to do a little bit of arrangements. That, and we had to put in a couple things for my little nephew. Anyway, today we are back into Zombie Month. You all heard me correct. Zombie Month. Now, we are going to be comparing... Get these out here before I get off me. We are going to be comparing, my friends, zombie games. Well, games that have zombies in them, like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Dead Island, The Last of Us, and the other type of Dead Island. Now, we're going to start off with Dead Island. This one right here. This one is an all-class favorite of mine. I love playing Dead Island Riptide, and now they have the definitive edition on PS4. Now, I have done a couple roleplay videos on my PS4 before my PS4 broke. And you want to know what sucks? My Dying Light, the following Enhanced Edition, is still stuck inside the PS4. I'm not joking. My PS4 broke for some reason. It won't turn on at all. I looked through my PS4 cases, and my Dying Light is still stuck inside the PS4. So I'm going to have to find someone that can take it apart and hopefully safely remove my Dying Light without breaking it. And if I can't find someone to do that, then I may have to take a knife or some other form of instrument and destroy my PS4, which will be devastating. But if I even have to do that, I'm going to remove the hard drive. That way I won't lose any of my game data or anything specific that I may have saved on my PS4. And I also have an external drive, so I have like backup saved. But anyway, we're going to review Dead Island. Now, this one I bought years ago includes 3 DLC packs, the Bloodbath Arena, the Errata White episode, and the Ripper mod blueprint. Now, Dead Island, I loved playing that game as a kid, and I still love playing it. But there was some stuff in Dead Island that just didn't really make sense. Like, the game takes place on an island filled with zombies, and there were 4 immune characters: Logan, Perna, Sambi, and Sean Min. Until there's a 5th one, John Morgan, but he don't come into the first Dead Island. Now, the 4 immune characters are tasked with finding supplies for Cinemoy and his people. Okay. At first I thought that's all it's going to be. Just going, looting supplies, killing zombies, right? Nope. They're tasked with trying to get the hell off that island. Well, how about one of those convenient paddle boats lying around? Simple enough. I mean, all up and down the beach in that game, all you had to do was take one of those convenient paddle boats lying around and row their way off the island. I mean, that's what I would have done. If I was desperately trying to get the hell off that island, then I would have went and got one of those convenient paddle boats that was lying around. If you haven't played Dead Island, then I don't know what universe you live in, but Dead Island, up and down the entire beach, from the Diamond District Bungalows area all the way to where you first come out of the prologue. Up and down that entire beach, there are boats stacked up like, what do you call those Native American things? I know I'm part Native American, but they call them something, teepees. It's like a Native American type of tent. But they were all kinds of them stacked up, and there were some of them just sitting there on the beach. Not a single person, not a single person, but hey, take a couple boat paddles and row your way off the island. I mean, it wouldn't have took them 5-10 minutes to get that started. And if you're a weakling, well, have someone help you. For fuck's sake, it doesn't take 10-15 minutes to push one out to the ocean, being that it's already near the water. Too convenient for them? Okay, find a boat engine. Put a boat engine on the freaking boat. You can get you faster than paddling your boat. But no, they don't even try that. And we know that the 4 Immune know how to install an engine on a boat. Because in Dead Island Riptide, that's one of the things they're tasked to doing. So how come they couldn't do it in the first Dead Island? Hell if I know. And I just don't understand it. And then later when they come into the jungle, they find Moen and his giant boat, which I don't even know why they can't use that to get off the island. I mean, it's bigger. They can store some non-perishables, some weapons, some ammo, maybe a bed or two in case someone gets tired, and just drive off the island with that. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Heck, I guarantee you 80% of the people in that game depended on helicopters, submarines, and aircraft carriers. Okay. We know a helicopter came to the island. Was it really military or some sort of news reporter? I mean, we don't know whose helicopter that was. That could have been a military helicopter. Of course, we didn't see any military dead guys. We didn't see any machine guns mounted on the helicopters. Nothing like that. So, who sent the helicopter? That's a good question. Maybe Emily, Ryder White's wife. I mean, it is clarified that she called the rescue helicopter and told them to stay away. Well, if that's the case, why didn't they just go back to the aircraft carrier? Because in Dead Island Riptide, when they do go back to that aircraft carrier, there is no other helicopter but the one that the Immune took in the ending to get off the island. So maybe the helicopter that crashed on Benoit was the one Emily told to stay away. Get the hell out of here, Fly. Now, this is something else. In Ryder White's DLC, in the first game, we all come to think Ryder White, the Colonel guy that we fight at the end, we think he's a big dickhead, asshole, shit for brains dude that's trying to kill everyone and steal the vaccine, right? No. People got the misinterpretation of him. Ryder White is actually an innocent guy, and he's my favorite character out of all 4 of the Immune in the first game. Why? Well, he's trained in combat. He can carry a shite ton of ammo. Let's see. That's about it. He's more qualified for shit like this than all the other 4 Immune. And the fact that it reveals that Karen, or should we say Kevin, freaking decided to impersonate White to get him to come to the prison because Ryder's wife, Emily, gets bit. Now, this is my theory. And this is all sort of proven in Dead Island and Escape Dead Island. If you haven't played Escape Dead Island, that game is sort of more cartoony than the first-person shooters that we're all really familiar with. Well, in Escape Dead Island, it reveals that both Karen and Sean Min had something to do with that outbreak days before it happened. Y'all probably wondering how I know this. Well, like I said, it is sort of revealed in Escape Dead Island. And in Dead Island, Karen uses this outbreak as his scapegoat to get the hell off the island and escape the prison. How? Well, during the outbreak, he's helping Emily with her work. Well, she said in one of her tapes that that fly is getting on my nerves. I'm about ready to throw a freaking boot at it. Well, I can't now. It's on a window. I don't want to break my window. That fly comes at me again. I'm swatting him. What kind of bug wants you to eat it? Anyway, as I was saying, Karen was helping Emily. Well, in one of her recordings, it reveals that she said she thought she locked the door behind her when she got bit. Well, Karen could have unlocked that door and released the infected on her, biting her, infecting her. Knowing that the infection takes over, she calls Ryder, tells him about the situation, and he knows that Ryder is stubborn. So he did that on purpose to get him to come to the prison to try and save his wife. Well, in the events of doing that, he's also talking to the 4 Immune. And while he's talking to the 4 Immune, impersonating White, he gets them to go to the laboratory and make a so-called cure, which we all know wasn't a cure. It was a freaking super virus that Karen and Dr. West had made up. Now, this is what pissed me off. Why was West helping a terrorist? We may never know. But anyway, while the Immune are out doing whatever, Karen is tasking Ryder, having him do things for him, until the 4 Immune come to the prison. Then he sets Ryder up, making him think that, oh, it's a cure, I'm helping you help your wife. Don't worry. Now, if I was able to teleport myself into the game, I would have been like, dude, fucking kill this guy. It's all a big setup. That's not a cure. Just shoot him. I would have flat out told White the truth, so he can just kill Karen and maybe wake up the 4 Immune that Karen gassed. He blames it on White. White did have a tiny bit of help in that. I mean, he placed the gas in the elevator, but he didn't know that Karen was going to set him up and frame him, make him think that, well, make the Immune think that Ryder did it. You didn't know he was going to do that. Anyway, when White gets the super virus, he tries getting his wife off the island. In the meantime, the 4 Immune chase him down and they engage into a big gun battle with his men. And then once the big standoff happens on the rooftop, Jen releases Emily on Ryder, biting him, infecting him, getting him to turn into a monstrosity, thus the Immune killing him so they can take his helicopter and Karen along with him. They just think Karen is like a hacker type person. Like picking locks and stuff. Well, Anyway, which brings us to why I hate the DLC. Ryder is supposed to be a good guy. He is just trying to save his wife. Sure, he was going to bomb the island. Yeah, I mean, I could probably see that. If there is no cure for the virus, if it's threatening the entire bloody world, and you're 100% positive that it will completely eradicate the virus, then go for it. But at least try to save what survivors you can first, and then the ones that are zombified, drop bombs on them and bomb the hell out of them. I mean, that's the part about the game that I didn't like. Ryder was a good guy, and he ends up getting framed to be a bad guy. And then in Riptide, we get a new character, John Morgan, which shares some very much similarities and capabilities as to what Ryder does. Now, you're probably wondering how. Well, look at them. They don't look the same, but they do have some similarities. One, they both sustain an injury on their arm. They both have a wife. They both have 2 daughters. Coincidence? They're both working for the ADF, or BIDF, whichever one you want to go with. Mostly ADF, Australian Defence Force. Now, they both share some fighting stances that are very similar. Like the uppercut mechanic. John gets to uppercut some zombies. Ryder gets to do that. And along with a few other fighting stances. But in this scenario, we introduce John as a new immune character. And I grow to kind of get attached to him. But in some sense, you can never keep a character. The Walking Dead introduced that just snap. Now, Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide did have quite a few fun games. Where, in the first one, they did have quite a bit of references. Let's see, there was Jason Voorhees, there was Walkers, a few mentions of The Walking Dead. Let's see here. I think one small reference to Dawn of the Dead. And in a way, I think that's how Dead Island got made. You see, someone probably in the studio, whoever the developers were, probably saw the ending of Dawn of the Dead where they're on that island and zombies come running out. Maybe that's where they got the idea for the game. They seen that ending and thought, zombies on an island. And then probably came up with the idea for Dead Island. In case you didn't notice, there ain't many movies that come up with an island on zombies, besides Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island. And that is not a horror film. That is a kid's show, or show, cartoon, whatever you want to call it. I don't watch cartoons. And if I do, it would be with my nephew, because he wouldn't leave me the hell alone. Anyway, we're going to talk about The Walking Dead. Well, no, that's going to be last. Next, we're going to be talking about this one, Call of Duty Zombies. Now, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I know that was Advanced Warfare, but we're going with Black Ops 1 up to Advanced Warfare. Sounds more practical. In Black Ops 1, we get 4 characters. We get Dempsey, Nikolai, forgot the Chinese or Japanese guy, whatever his name was, and the German, Richthofen. And they all fight zombies in the Black Ops 1 zombie mode. And their task was surviving as many rounds as possible. Alright, sounds like a fun game. You know, they should really make things different. You see, in that game, there are so many different things that they could do in reality, but they don't allow it. Like the boarded up windows and stuff. If the windows are if the boarded windows are freaking tore down, why don't they just climb over that and run? I mean, outside the map, it looks like a whole lot more of unexplored areas of the map. And frankly, I would have loved to have been able to explore the outside of the map and see what and all, where the zombies are coming from, if there are other survivors, because we never know. We're just stuck in one little tiny map area. We don't get to see a bit of where any of the streets go or any of the buildings are. Like in the Theater of the Dead, or Damned, which was Kino der Toten. And then there was the other map. I forgot the name of it. It takes place in a bunker. There's a reference of it in Black Ops 2 in the cornfield. Anyway, there was all kinds of unexplored areas of that map. We never got to see any of it. I mean, sure, the map looks pretty decent, but why can't we explore outside the map? That would have been awesome. And then we get several other freaking maps, like the moon. That's kind of a fun map. I like it. I do. And to tell you the truth, when Dead Space came out, I thought that's what it was going to be like. A first-person shooter game with zombies in space. But it's more of an alien zombie than an actual zombie. But overall, it's still a good game. Now, in Black Ops 1, there are many weapon variations, like the 1911 45. That is a decent handgun in real life. A real decent pistol. But in the game, they make it seem like the most weakest weapon in the game. Besides our favorite, the combat knife. Yeah, I got me a new one. And they make it seem like those weapons are generally the weakest in the game. Well, in reality, they can actually kill a zombie pretty good. A 45 freaking rounds the size of my dang pinky. Alright? Maybe the size of my middle finger. I'm not a guy to judge on a pistol's caliber size. I own a 9mm, and the round is about the size of my pinky. Right about there-ish. 45, probably right about there. You only got a Desert Eagle round. I'd say about the size of my thumb. Like that. Because a Desert Eagle round is pretty damn big. And that's something else I wanted to get by. In Dead Island, all rifles, shotguns, revolvers, and regular average handguns all share the same ammo. How? In case nobody noticed, a Desert Eagle round versus pinky-sized bullet round. How does a Desert Eagle round and a 9mm-ish handgun both share the same ammo? Explain that. Explain that to me. I mean, if they were both a 9mm handgun, then yeah, I could probably see that. But when it comes to a Desert Eagle and an M9 Beretta, I don't see the ammo sharing the same. Alright? Especially when one's bigger than the other. Way bigger. Try fitting a Desert Eagle round in that Beretta. It'd be like stuffing an orange into a freaking ammo clip. It wouldn't fit. It just wouldn't. Now, which brings me to another thing I'd like to talk about this knife here. There are a lot of bladed weapons and such on Dead Island. Now, I could probably see knives, swords, machetes, stuff like that getting dull every time you use it. Sure, why not just sharpen it? Instead, they have a durability thing where you use it so much, it breaks to the point where you need to find a workbench and repair it. Now, how does a knife chip off and break? Unless you're hitting a freaking rock. Unless you're literally just taking a knife or a machete and just pounding away at a rock. That ain't gonna work. Now, if you're slashing and flashing something on a zombie, I could see the blade getting dull. That's where a wet rock comes in handy, and you just sharpen it and move on. Now, which brings me to another part of the category in Dead Island. The blunt weapons. Crowbars, metal baseball bats, hammers, all good, all kinds of goodies, right? Well, the durability kind of sucks on most of them. I don't really see a crowbar breaking. I don't see an aluminum baseball bat breaking, especially if it's a good one. A full tang hammer, like a full piece hammer, not wood handle, I mean one of those hard metal, full metal ones. I don't see that breaking a bit. Alright? So, why do they break? Now, back to the Black Ops category. There are some good melee weapons, like the Bowie knife, which I own one. And then there's the Glova Knuckles, which is kind of a real thing. If you go in and type in Type 008, you will see something called the Electric Brass Knuckles, which is very similar to the Glova Knuckles in Black Ops 2. And now, which brings me back to my other category. In Black Ops 2, we're done with Black Ops 1. In Black Ops 2, you get new characters. Some of the old ones return. Newer weapons. More advanced ones. Very nice. Still can't explore outside the map, which kind of sucks. And Black Ops 2 can be hacked or modded pretty easily, which makes it super unfair for other players. Trust me. In Black Ops 2 multiplayer, me and my best friend Z-Man101010, if you don't know who that is, go into his channel, look up some of his videos. He's my best friend. He can tell you the same thing. Me and him were playing multiplayer in Black Ops 2. Next thing we know, we come across an entire fucking team. An entire team, just me and him, no one else on our team. 2 of us against like 8 people. And they had fucking God mode on. Why? You're just taking the fun out of the goddamn game by putting on God mode and making yourself invincible, unlimited ammo. Ha ha ha. Quit using God mode and fight like a man instead of a little bitch. That's what I have to say. If you use God mode on multiplayer, then you're a little bitch. Because you know you can't fight like a real man. I don't use God mode on Black Ops 2. I don't even know if it's available for Black Ops 1. I don't look that shit up. You know why? Because I prefer fighting like a normal player. And I'm not saying that my friend Z-Man101010 is a little bitch. I'm not saying that. I don't care if he uses God mode or not. I don't. But he sometimes uses it to try and spot out other players that are using God mode so he can call them out and stop them. But he doesn't enable invincibility or anything like that. No, no. Now, he doesn't use God mode either. He doesn't. Not intentionally. He doesn't enable invincibility or shit like that. No. He mainly uses it just to spot other players that are freaking cheating. He can tell you the same thing. Now, let's just say in Black Ops 2 Zombies, that would be a complete different story. I mean, in Black Ops 2, you're up against other zombies. In Black Ops 2 multiplayer, that's just cheating. In Black Ops 2 Zombies, the zombies are getting tougher and stronger by the minute. Now, let's say you were to enable invincibility or infinite ammo or something. I'd be completely fine with that. Just don't use it in multiplayer against other players. My favorite map in the entire zombie game is Transit. That and a couple other maps. But mainly Transit. Because we get a vehicle, we get to travel, we get all kinds of fun. New characters like Misty, Marlton, Rushman, and Stullinger. And a robot bus driver. Which means we don't get to drive the bus. A+ there. But until some jackass decides to join us and call us mean, rude, unnecessary names, accuse us of shit, like a friend of mine on PS3, he still accuses me of hacking and modding. I don't even know how to hack and mod, so why the hell is he accusing me of that shit? I mean, sure, I know people that can kinda do that stuff, but as for me, I'm like a caveman when it comes to that shit. Never used it, never gonna use it. Now, my friends online, sure, they can do it. I don't care if they do it. As long as they don't full-on cheat and say that we're a bunch of faggot-ass pussies that are losing 24/7. Which I know the jackasses on PS4 and PS3. The ones that use that shit to cheat, I hope your systems break. I do. That way when you're sitting in the dark crying about your PS3 and PS4 broke, you could probably think twice about cheating. I don't cheat. Not once, not ever, never gonna. Try to keep the game as original as possible. Now, in advanced, well, Modern Warfare don't come into zombies because they don't have a zombie mode. Now, Advanced Warfare and World War II. Well, we're going to go with World War II first. In World War II Zombies, it's a little bit fun. I'll give it that. You can refill your pack-a-punched weapons at almost any station. Well, not any station. If you buy a weapon on the wall, you can. If you buy a weapon from the mystery box, like the Bren, the MG42, the MG15, weapons like that, you can refill them at the Pack-a-Punch, which is bigger A+, since in Black Ops 1 and 2 you couldn't do that. It won't let you refill them. Not unless it's a weapon on the wall. Which I find kind of sucks. Major dicks. And let's see here. In World War II, there is a short story. We get 4 new characters. Maria, Olivia, Jefferson, and Droston. And some secret characters. Now, I'm not really a big fan on getting super new characters. I just prefer just playing the game and getting this shit done with. I mean, I'm just looking for fun. I ain't looking forward to completing challenges. I don't know why people insist on go for the challenges, go for the challenges. I'm not going for the challenges. It's just for fun. And another thing. Toxic people on World War II. Just because you and your team are getting your ass kicked or you're losing doesn't give you the general right to call people cheaters, losers, faggots, pussies, all kinds of shit. It doesn't give you the right to call them that. It don't. Now, let's say this. I am sort of an experienced player in World War II. There have been a couple rough patches in the game where I have lost. I'll admit that. But I don't generally say those kind of things to people. I don't try to be rude. I try to keep the game positive. It's all about fun, playing games, and enjoying time with your friends and making new friends. And the fact that people want to be toxic, talk shit about people, it's just unfair. I mean, what do these people ever do to you? Nothing. Now, if they were breaking into your house and smashing your shit to pieces on purpose just to be an asshole, then I see the perfect excuse to beat the holy hell out of them. Well, think about it. If some random asshole came into your house, smashed your TV, your PS4, PS3, whatever gaming console you have to pieces with a hammer or a baseball bat, you telling me that you wouldn't think about getting up and beating the holy undead hell out of that person? If someone did that to me, they wouldn't be walking out. They'd be crawling out. Either that or carried out. I have a lot of weapons. So if someone were to try that shit with me, they'd be either dead or half dead. I try to avoid violence as possible, but if someone breaks into my house literally just to do that shit to me, they ain't walking away. They're going to be crawling away or being carried in a body bag. I'm not necessarily a violent person, but I will defend myself if I have to. Off subject. Back on subject. World War II. We get some pretty decent new weapons, especially in multiplayer. We get the sword, we get trench knives, shovels, all kinds of cool stuff. Now, it's a shame that in the zombies mode we can't really pack any of those weapons, but we do get different shovel variants, which is pretty decent, if I had to say. Now, in video games, World War II is probably one of the best ones so far that I could probably think of. Until there's that Call of Duty, Cold War, but my PS4 broke. Well, shitballs. Now, in World War II Zombies, there are hundreds of other weapons, and the fact that we can customize those weapons, like the MP40, the Thompson, the Sten, all kinds of cool weapons, and we can customize what they look like, with scopes, heavier weapon calibers, rifling scopes, even the reticles on those scopes. We can customize what they look like. Now that's an A++ in my book, because in Black Ops 1 and 2, we don't get to do that at all. It's just freaking set up for us, which kind of sucks. Now, here's another thing I have to say about World War II. It's awesome. I love it. It's just, I don't want people being toxic on the game. There's no reason for it. I mean, sure, you can get frustrated. All you have to do is just take a few deep breaths or go for a brisk walk. Which I do sometimes. Sometimes I do have anger issues. And what I do to cope with my anger issues, I go for a walk, take some deep breaths. Once in a while, I might chop down a tree, depending on what size the tree is and where I am. Hey, it's better than taking my anger out on my friends, my family, and my personal property, which I have seen. Ah, motherfucking fly. Get out of here. I've seen videos of people taking their anger out on their relatives, on their friends, and their personal property, which, why would you do that? It just makes you a bigger asshole. Now, if that person or that thing done something to you to piss you off, then I could see why you'd get angry. But if you lose in a game, then there's no reason for you to take your anger out on your friends, family, or personal property. Like this one guy. I've seen him punch his TV. I've seen him smash his PS4. I've seen him smash his controllers. All kinds of people do that. Why? You just have to rebuy that shit, and frankly, if you were my kid and you done that, I ain't buying you another one. You break it, then you buy yourself a new one. And don't think about trying to steal out of my wallet, because that's where I draw the line. And why take it out on your friends and family? What did your friends and your family do to piss you off to make you want to take your anger out on them? Did they hit you? No. Did they stab you? No. Did they throw your shit in a pool or smash it to pieces? No. If you're just getting mad at the game, then there's no reason for you to take your anger out on your personal property. Or your friends and family. It's just stupid. Now, back to video games. Advanced Warfare. Kinda cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. I like how you can play certain characters, like Jim Decker. For one, I didn't know that he was voice played by John Bernthal. If you don't know who that is, watch The Walking Dead. You'll know who he is. He played as Shane. Or, did he play in The Punisher at one point, or is that someone else? I don't know. But anyway, he played in quite a few movies. He played in The Walking Dead as Shane. And he plays as Jim Decker in Advanced Warfare, which is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. And in other Call of Duty games, like Modern Warfare, it's an awesome game. It shows us like what our Modern Warfare right now looks like. And I gotta say, it's pretty accurate. But they're not gonna put zombies in because, well, they don't want to see our Modern Warfare right now fighting zombies. Which I think kind of overall sucks. But we're done with the Call of Duty session now. We're going to go into... Where's that? Here we are. The Last of Us. Now this is an all-class favorite as well. It's up there with Dead Island. We get 4 different characters. Well, not 4 different characters. What was I thinking? I was thinking about the Call of Duty games. We get a new character in this series called Joel. He is a guy that works for a living trying to support himself and his daughter Sarah. When on his birthday, all kinds of shit hits the fan with an apocalypse. Now I gotta say, the zombies and the infection in this game looks pretty damn badass. And it has its moments. Like when Joel loses his daughter Sarah. That was a very sad moment. And then it cuts 20 years into the future where he's a little bit older. And he has sort of a girlfriend, best friend type person named Tess. And their tests were finding a guy named Robert who sent people to kill Tess for no damn reason. Which is kind of a dick move. I can kind of cope with that. Now, Joel and Tess do accomplish this until they meet Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies. And she is tasked with getting Ellie to a lab, a Firefly lab. I don't know why she can't just do it herself. But she gets Ellie to... She tasks Joel and Tess with getting and taking Ellie to this lab. Right? When all hell breaks loose. And she agreed to do this for Joel and Tess since she has their weapons and whatnot. And eventually they do make it to the Capitol building where they're supposed to drop Ellie off. Along with meeting a couple new infected along the way. Clickers, bloaters, all kinds of zombies. Well, zombie-ish type creatures. Which looks pretty appealing. And until Tess reveals that she's bit. So Joe takes the idea to go to Bill's, get a vehicle, drive all the way to Tommy's Dam. Okay. I could see that plan going. Next thing we know, they come across hunters in a city which hunt people down, kill them for no apparent reason, and loot their bodies. Which overall is a complete bitch and dick move. And then, until finally meet Henry and Sam, in which they help them along the way. God dang! Fly, get the hell out of here! He's on my camera. Never fucking mind. I was gonna say, he landed on the top of the camera. I was trying to swat him. Don't know where he went. I hate that. Try doing a video, a fly, a stink bug, some sort of fucking flying bug has to come in here and fucking land on my head or my face or some shit like that. Anyway. I see that fly. Now he's back on top of my camera. I don't want to swat the camera because I'm afraid of breaking it. Anyway. Back to The Last of Us. They meet Henry and Sam, which help them get out of the city and whatnot. Until Sam and Henry pass away, sadly. And they bury them. And move on to Tommy's Dam, in which Tom reluctantly gives Joel what he needs to get Ellie to that lab. Alright, I could kind of see this. But then, in the midst of arriving to Tommy's Dam, they are attacked by looters, in which Ellie runs off in the process after a brief conversation with Maria about Ellie's immunity. Frankly, why argue about the shit? The girl's immune, just get her to the hospital so they can try to make a cure. Right? Well, Ellie runs off on a horse, and Joel and Ellie have a sort of father-daughter type of conversation until they are attacked by hunters again. And in a mist after that, they finally arrive at the university where this lab is. But to find out that everyone there is dead and that there are more hunters chasing them down. Okay, why are these guys so amped to chase Joel and Ellie down? I mean, they're just a couple of survivors looking to survive like anyone else. Just leave them alone and don't bother them. Don't go picking fights that you know you're going to get your ass kicked in. Quote from my mom. Literally, my mom said that. If there's a fight and you think you can win, go for it. But if you can't win, then don't go picking a fight that you know you can't win. because then you get your ass whooped. But anyway, in the midst of all of that, arriving at the lab and getting attacked by hunters, Joel gets impaled on a piece of rebar, and he critically injures him, to where Ellie needs to take care of him and make sure that he lives. And upon doing some hunting, because, you need food in the apocalypse, she comes... Gotcha, you bastard. Landed right on my shoulder. I have to change her shirt now. Anyway, upon hunting for food, she meets David and his friend James, which we think is just a couple creepy guys, possibly hunters, which they do reveal they are, and they are cannibals as well, which is kind of fucked up. Why eat another person? I mean, if they are alive, leave them alone. There are other means of food and such. There was another fly and I swatted him out of the air. And I did it with this! My knife holster. Don't know where he landed, but he went over somewhere near that. I see him. Ow. Yeah, I see him. Anyway, upon realizing that David and James are the hunters that have been tracking Joel and Ellie and going after them. What is the big deal with this group? Why do they keep chasing after Joel and Ellie? They're just a couple people trying to get by. You don't need to ambush them. You don't need to kill them. You sure as hell don't need to freaking hunt them down after they done passed through. Just drop it and leave it alone. That's all you need to do. People don't listen in an apocalypse. And that fly I swatted with this is back and he looks pissed. Or is that even a fly? I'll have to double check what I hit with my knife holster. Anyway. Upon trying to hide from these hunter dudes, they track Ellie down. Again, drop it and leave them alone. You don't need to go hunting them down. But anyway, in the midst of that, she lures them away from Joel because he's still sort of injured badly. And upon that, they shoot her horse, which is sad. And then Ellie manages to kill quite a few of them, until David decides to put her in a chokehold and knock her out. And when she wakes up in their camp a couple hours later, assume it was hours, and they are chopping up a guy, which reveals how they're cannibals, which kind of sucks. Then they try feeding Ellie some of that shit. He says it's deer, but after seeing some guy literally chopping off someone's arm with a cleaver, I wouldn't be freaking hair. Get out of here. I wouldn't trust that shit with a 10-foot pole. But Ellie just goes and starts eating. I would have been like, no thanks, you can have it. That is not a fly, that is a wasper. When you come this way, wasper, I will swat your ass out of the fucking air again. After I end this video, I'm killing that wasper. Anyway, after Ellie escapes David's custody, Joel wakes up in the midst of it, knocks out two guys, interrogates the shit out of them, and kills them. Wouldn't blame him. And then he goes to town and gets Ellie to find her chopping David up, which I don't blame her. I mean, the creepy cannibal guy tried to possibly molest her, I would probably be taking a machete to the fucker's head too. Anyway, after that, it becomes spring, and Joel and Ellie make their way to the hospital, and just to find out that Ellie's infection means that they could make a cure. But they decide to tell Joel that it will kill her. Alright, it grows over her brain. And he goes full freaking Call of Duty on their asses and slaughters them all, including the doctor that was going to make a cure. Which brings us to the events of The Last of Us 2. Now, I hated The Last of Us 2 ending. I hated the story. The combat, the playthrough, the playing, the weapons, the design, the graphics, the story, well, not the story, but the design, the graphics, all of that. Awesome! Masterpiece. But the fucking story. I'd rather take the story and wipe my ass with it than publish that in a video game. That's how bad the story was. For one, they killed Joel off at the beginning. Why? You couldn't just have them badly injure him? Like stab him and beat the hell out of him? And then, months later, he and Ellie go out on an adventure or some shit? I would not want a story where one of our beloved characters gets killed right off the bat. Just like Clementine and AJ's story in The Walking Dead. Clementine and AJ came together in the freaking apocalypse. AJ's parents were died and she took him in. Alright, she took care of him. Until the New Frontier, which David, the shit for brains guy that we all come to know and hate, decides to take AJ from her and send him to a farm. Why take him if you're just going to send him somewhere? Dick. And we meet Javi and his story with Kate and Gabe and Mariana, and later find out that they are having sort of an affair. They had no idea that David was dead. They honestly thought he was dead. They didn't know he was alive. And David gets pissed and beats the hell out of Javi to the point where he takes a fucking monkey wrench and tries beating his ass with it. Okay, I can handle a couple punches to the forehead. Alright? But if you're swinging a goddamn monkey wrench the size of my fucking arm at me, that's when I'm pulling out my knife and slitting your throat. He brings a weapon to a fight, I bring a weapon to a fight. It'd be fair. Nobody gonna smash my head with a damn wrench. That's just fucked up. But we digress. AJ and Clementine's story. They come together. What if they created a Walking Dead game where Clementine gets killed off right at the beginning? There will be a lot of angry people. And I don't blame them. Because Clementine and AJ are our two favorite characters that we come to know and love in a story. How they came to meet, how they progressed through the apocalypse, how they grew up, all of that. That was awesome. And The Last of Us 2, we get none of that. Now, if it had been a different situation, like where Ellie's mom comes into the picture, we all know she's dead. But if she was alive and came into the picture and she gets captured by these WLF or Seraphites or whoever, and Ellie and Joel go out on a mission, we getting to decide who to play as, that would have been awesome. That game would have probably got a hell of a lot more better views than what it got. And I'm almost willing to bet my liver on it. And in the Walking Dead games, Clementine and AJ's story was great. We loved that story. Until the ending, we got a bittersweet ending on the end of Clementine's story, where she gets bit on the foot, and AJ's intentions were to amputate, which he did, and we get a somewhat sweet ending. The bitter part is where Clementine loses her foot, but she lives, sadly. The sad part is where she loses her foot. I'm happy that she lives. Alright, don't get the wrong idea that I hate that Clementine lives. Don't get that idea. I love that she lives. It's just I hate that she loses her foot. If I lost one of my feet, I'd be asking you to shoot me. And if I lost one of my hands, like this one in particular, my right hand, I'd definitely be asking you to shoot me. Because I can't do anything with this left hand except maybe slap things and maybe press a button. My right hand, I do everything with this. So if I lost this, you might as well just put a bullet in my head and bury me 6 feet under. And the other Walking Dead games, like Overkill is The Walking Dead, we get newer characters. The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, sort of new characters, new environment setting. All of which we love. But there are things missing in those games that we need. Like the stories of those characters, the reasons why we're in these different settings, all of that. And another thing, weapon durability. Like I said before, if you stab in something or cut in something, I don't see a blade breaking. Alright, unless it's made out of cardboard, a knife like this definitely ain't going to break. I mean, sure, if you put pressure on it, if you're like prodding into something, like a car door or something, I could see a knife breaking. But if you're just stabbing things or cutting things in general, I don't really see a knife breaking as easily. I mean, why? A knife definitely wouldn't break as easy as games depict. I mean, sure, if you're propping on a car door or a building door or something like that, yeah, I could probably see it breaking. If you're hitting at a rock with it or something, yeah, I could probably see part of the blade chipping away and breaking. If you're stabbing something like a zombie head or anyone that is trying to kill you, I don't really see the knife breaking like that. So overall, that was a dumb-ass thing in some of the video games. The weapon durability. I don't see any weapons that are very hard metal and one piece breaking easily. Like crowbars, metal baseball bats, knives, some machetes, full hammers, full tang hammers, I mean. I don't see them breaking. I mean, if it has a wooden handle, or a plastic-ish, or a fiberglass-ish handle, then yeah, I could probably see it breaking off at the handle. Like a fire axe, for instance, or a wood axe. If it has a wooden handle, then I could probably see it breaking as easily. But as far as breaking, as far as a knife or a crowbar or some other form of very hard weapon, I don't see that breaking. So it's saying it breaks as soon as you use it, like in The Last of Us 2. We get crowbars, we get machetes, pickaxes, all kinds of neat weapons. The one weapon that we do get that is not unbreakable is a switchblade. A switchblade is held together by screws. Little ones. And you're telling me that a little tiny switchblade like that ain't gonna break? I could see a switchblade breaking easier than a machete or a freaking regular survival knife. Which I don't know why Joel nor Ellie packs. I mean, sure, a switchblade is good and all, but you gotta think about the durability. A knife like this is something they should be packing, something that's got a full tang. I mean, think about it. Would you rather be packing something like this or something that would break easily? And this is solid. Prove my point. You don't hear any wiggling, do you? And this is brand new. Now, if I was chopping or something hard 24/7, I could see the blade breaking or something like that. But the way games describe, blades would definitely break if they were made out of cardboard, which we all know they're not. And some games where they leave off to be making a sequel for, like The Walking Dead Survival Instinct. I was really expecting them to come out with a sequel for that, which they didn't. I wonder why. I mean, I want to see them continue Daryl and Merle's story until the point where they meet Shane, Lori, and all of them. What do they do? Where do they go? What people have they met? We don't get a bit of that, which sucks. Anyway, those were my overviews of video games and zombies. Yes, we are back into zombie month. I mentioned that before. I think I did anyway. Anyway, my name is Dallas May. I'll see you all when I do another video.